Okay guys, we're going to start this morning with a little bit of English. Your targets are, I can select expanded sentences that are more interesting because adjectives have been added. I can identify adjectives, and I can choose an adjective to make a sentence more interesting. Now we know that sentences are made up of two parts. The part that tells who or what the sentence is about is called the subject, and the part that tells what the subject does or is called the predicate. The main word or words in the subject part is called the subject, and the words that are in the predicate, usually the first word, are called verbs, and there are two kinds, action verbs and linking verbs. Nouns, if you remember, can be located anywhere in a sentence. The nouns in this sentence, the bird built a nest, are bird and nest. What are adjectives? Remember, we talked about adjectives a couple of chapters ago, and we learned that an adjective is a word that describes a noun. They can answer what kind, they can answer how many. Adjectives can tell us what kind of look, sound, smell, feel, or taste something has. They can also tell us how many people, places, or things there are. If we were going to describe this bird, what are some words that we could use? Large, beautiful, big, small, tiny. And if we were to describe the nest, what adjectives would we use? We might say huge, small, spiky, warm, comfortable. All of those are adjectives that could describe the nest. So if we wanted to add some adjectives, we could put our insert mark and we could say the beautiful bird built a cozy nest. And we have added adjectives to make that sentence more interesting. And then I could rewrite it. The beautiful bird built a cozy nest. Each adjective that we added is boxed because that's what we do to adjectives. We box them. All right, now let's look at the second sentence. The clouds floated in the sky. My nouns are clouds and sky. If I were going to describe the clouds, I might say puffy, I might say white, I might say gray. And if I describe the sky, I might say blue, I might say dark. And now we're going to add adjectives to our sentence to make it more interesting. The puffy clouds floated in the blue sky. And if I rewrote it, I would say the puffy clouds floated in the blue sky. And then I can box my adjectives. I look at number 3. The sentence says, the man feeds the horse. My nouns are man and horse. So I could say he might be kind and the horse might be hungry. So I would write the kind man feeds the hungry horse. And my adjectives are kind and hungry because they describe the man and the horse. On the next two sentences, we're going to choose an adjective to describe the underlined noun. The man cut the blank grass. Would you describe the grass as green or kind? And I think that we're going to go with green. And Tom climbed the blank tree. Was the tree pink or was the tree tall? If we were in a Dr. Seuss movie, it might be pink, but normally trees are tall. And at the bottom of the page, you're going to select the sentence that is more interesting because adjectives have been added. Max has a dog, or little Max has a gray dog. Well, I think little Max has a gray dog paints an image in my mind. I can see a little boy with his gray dog. Jenny loves fluffy dogs, or Jenny loves dogs. Well, I think Jenny loves fluffy dogs creates a better picture in my mind because I can see the kind of dog that she likes. If I just say Jenny loves dogs, that could be any dog. But fluffy dog lets me know that it must have a lot of hair or fur. Pedro walks his dog each day, or Pedro walks his little dog each day. So I'm going to choose the second sentence because the word little tells me more about Pedro's dog. Now, in your language book or English book, you're supposed to complete pages 293 and 294. But I am going to say this. Complete sentences 1 through 4 on page 293, and then complete 8, 11, 12, and 13 on 294. Yeah, I think that's a good deal. So 1 through 4 on page 294, and then 8, 11, 12, 13 on page 294. On Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're going to be doing review pages and practice pages, and those will be for a grade, so you will need to do both pages on those assignments, but I'll address that in the lesson plans. This page, these questions you're doing today, they're not new. We've talked about adjectives. We've talked about colorful sentences already. But there's a little bit of review on page 294, which is why I asked you to do it. I will talk to you again in just a few minutes, and I hope you've had a good morning so far.